There were many causes of the Civil War. One of them was the request by slave-owning Missouri to join the Union in 1819, which provoked a debate between the North and the South. An important event marked our history. Once the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, it required all citizens to help catch runaway slaves. However, whoever helped a slave could be fined or put in prison. They even want to trap those runaways that have been living on the North for years. Soon, there came the Kansas-Nebraska Act that brought about popular sovereignty, which allowed the people to decide whether a territory will allow slavery. However, to pass this act, an old act had to be repealed, which was the Missouri Compromise. There was an outbreak of violence that could not be prevented. People felt that their ideals were being betrayed. As a result, rival governments formed in Kansas, one for slavery and one against slavery. John Brown, a ferocious abolitionist, believed that God had chosen him to end slavery. When he heard about the attack on the town of Lawrence, Brown became outrageous. He led four of his sons and two other men along Potawatomi Creek, where they killed 5 supporters of slavery. But the attacks had only started. The Republican Party was formed in order to ban slavery from new territories. The South feared that the real intention of the Republicans was the abolition of slavery in states where it already existed. The South constantly thought about their stability of their economic system and the comfortable lives they have lived so far. Furthermore, the Republican Party showed strength in the North. However, a court decision that shook the nation was the Dred Scott decision. Scott claimed that even though he was an enslaved African American brought into Missouri, a slave state, the doctor, who was the owner of Scott, moved years later to Illinois, a free state, and then moved back to Missouri and died there. Scott sued for his freedom. Nevertheless, it took 11 years for the case to reach the Supreme Court. However, the court decided that Scott could not sue since he was a slave, and that made him a non-citizen because he was considered to be property. Chief Justice Roger B. Taney said that Congress did not have the power to prohibit slavery in any territory. As a result, the Missouri Compromise was unconstitutional, which meant that the Constitution protected slavery. The Dred Scott decision made many leaders to go out in public and either judge the decision or simply agreed with it. In fact, African American abolitionist Frederick Douglass was hopeful that the whole slavery system could be overthrown in the future. At the time, national attention was on the Lincoln and Douglas Senate race in Illinois. Douglas won the Senate election, but lost support of the South. He made the South angry when he said that voters could keep slavery out of a territory. On the other hand, there was Lincoln, who was unknown, but what people said about his outstanding performance in the Illinois debates made him a great candidate for presidency. John Brown struck again. He planned a raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia. His raid lasted 36 hours, and many of his followers died, including 2 of his sons. Because of his crimes, he was hanged. On to another topic. The following leader of the United States had to put an end to the slavery issue for good. Even though it was attempted before, it had to be resolved soon. They knew that it would have to take a great president to lead the country through that rough path. But it was certain that the Southerners were feeling threatened because they thought that the Republican Party was growing and gaining control. The thought that the federal government would limit or abolish slavery made the South uneasy. The South feared that it was going to lose power in the national government, and as a result, it will end in an inevitable war.